Geek-Grotto.
Frankie here with Geek-Grotto.com. Thank you so much for having us here, Shinji. It is an honor to meet you.
はい、こんにちは。
So now, you've been with Appleseed for a while, like a long time. And you've worked on several films, working with Shiro on the designs and all. And we've noticed a distinct difference visually this time around compared to the previous versions. So what was the decision that led to that?
そうですね。変革はかなり違いますけど、今回は。
今回の話は、まず一番大きいのはやっぱり話の内容がですね、ストーリーのテーマというかそういったものがやっぱり。
I think this film's story actually takes on a lot more dramatic effect, and also the setting itself as well. So you wanted to really capture the emotional moments of each character, and the subtleties of the human expressions and whatnot. In order to really convey the emotions. So in order to do that, it was best to take on a photorealistic look, so that it's actually closer to the real world that we live in. So it's easier to actually identify and emphasize with those characters. So that had a lot to do with the choice of the visual expression that he decided to go with this time.
Now, we noticed this time around that you captured the body movement separately from the facial expressions, and I'm just curious why you did that, and did you have any problems marrying those two pieces up together?
We actually used the same actors for the motion capture and the facial expression. We even had them act out and speak the lines, act out the line as if they were in the movie itself. And so, and the same actor did the facials. So in some cases, they even did the voices. So it really kind of tried to, we really tried to get continuity of expression from each actor. So I think it is always challenging to try to match both, but I think it turned out pretty well this time.
Now, this is not your first computer-generated film. You do have a history in 2D classical animation, but again, you seem to have been moving more towards CG. So, which one do you prefer?
そうですね。もともと2D のアニメーションやってましたけど、ご存知のように僕はメカニックデザインという。
As you might know, back from even in my 2D animation background, his main job was actually a mechanical designer, but he does a lot of fine lines and very difficult gimmicks. It's hard to realize on screen, and if you're doing a 2D animation. So he was very frustrated many times because sometimes what he designed doesn't really come through in animation, or it really cannot be fully realized. So as he was kind of trying to look for the right way to show his designs on screen, he sort of ended up with computer graphics animation in a sense, and for him it's much easier to control and express himself through computer animation, just because of the nature of his design and where he wants to take it. It's very conducive to computer animation medium, so he does prefer CG to 2D. Yeah.
So when you do design, do you design on a computer or do you do it freehand?
He'll normally start with a rough sketch, and then he would print that out, and then he'll take a look at it, and he'll actually flesh it out in three-dimensional design, and then he would also need to have that as a reference in order to add details into it. So it is a bit of a process, but it is an interesting process that he goes through in order to finally arrive at the design that he really wants. Yeah.
Okay, and one last question. Appleseed Alpha implies that it's like a prequel of some sort. So chronologically, where does Appleseed Alpha fall in the life of Briareos and Dunin?
The Appleseed Alpha film actually deals with the starting point for these two characters. So when you go back to the original manga source, it's the first 20 to 30 pages of the first volume. There are some that we've incorporated from actually even in the second volume, but mainly this really deals with how they started in the Appleseed universe. It is a bit of an origin story, if you will.
Shinji, thank you so very much for your time.